Let's get started with our first story. The MMA community is absolutely roasting Ian Garry after new footage surfaced, showing something fans are calling strange, cringy, and even embarrassing. In a video shared online, Ian Garry revealed that he has a large framed photo hanging in his bedroom. A photo of himself trying to submit Shavkat Rakhmonov with a rear naked choke during their fight last December. Now, if you're surprised to hear that Garry is getting lit up for this, then you probably haven't been following the MMA scene too closely, because Ian Garry has been one of the most talked about, criticized, and memed fighters on the roster over the past year. From his unique personality to his controversial relationship with his wife, to his often over-the-top confidence, Garry has become a polarizing figure in the fight game. But this might be his strangest move yet. Let's back up a bit. Garry faced Shavkat Rakhmonov at UFC 296 last December. And to his credit, he did something no other man had done. He went the full distance with one of the most feared and dominant welterweights in the sport. While Garry lost the fight by unanimous decision, he had some decent moments, including one where he briefly got Rakhmonov's back and attempted a rear naked choke, but he didn't finish it. He didn't win. And yet he framed that exact moment and put it in his bedroom. In the now viral video, Garry says, "Every morning I wake up, this is my bedroom. I get up out of bed. I see a beautiful photo of my baby boy, my wedding photo, and this bad boy. Every day I see this, and it aggravates me." He claims it motivates him, that seeing the moment where he was close but ultimately failed reminds him to push harder. And while some fans understood the sentiment, the majority of the internet was not buying it. Social media exploded with savage comments mocking Garry. One fan wrote, "LOL. His marriage is a failure, just like his fight against Shavkat." Another posted, "I'm really looking forward to PR beating the out of this guy." A third said, "Why would he hang a picture of himself hugging another man in his bedroom? That just adds to his weirdness." Someone else chimed in, "He's acting like he won. That kind of mindset is going to get him folded by crates next week, I promise." Another brutal jab read, "You got the most important moment of your career which you failed to win. Framed weird." And one more savage line, "Why hang that up when it's literally you fundamentally misunderstanding how to position your hands for the easiest submission possible?" He wakes up to that, and his wife's ex-fiancé. Great stuff. What do you think about Ian Garry hanging that photo in his room? Is it a sign of determination and drive? Or is it just another example of why the MMA community can't take him seriously? Let us know in the comments. Moving on to Belal Muhammad, the reigning UFC welterweight champion, who recently gave fans an exclusive glimpse into his intense training camp ahead of his next fight. Known for his relentless pressure and rock-solid conditioning, Belal isn't leaving a single stone unturned as he prepares for the biggest test of his career, and he's not doing it alone. Belal has been sharpening his tools with the help of some serious talent elite training partners who are pushing him to the limit every single day. Among them are UFC veterans Jared Gordon and Gerald Meerschaert, both of whom bring a wealth of experience, toughness, and fight IQ to the room. In addition to these seasoned warriors, Bal has also linked up with Magomed Umalatov, a PFL tournament finalist known for his ferocity and world-class grappling. That's right, Bal has surrounded himself with killers. In his own words, Bal shared the vibe of the gym. "I just got a couple new training partners that came in. Magometo Molotov, who's an absolute monster. Shout out to him for coming down here and helping me. Brahim's been coming down helping me too. And my boy Jared Gordon, who's like a brother to me. He's been with me for so long. He just came down this week to help me out." You can hear the gratitude in his voice. This isn't just about training partners. This is family. This is a team of warriors who truly want to see him win. Bal went on to say, "I got a lot of people around me that want to see me win. Gerald Meerschaert just fought a couple weeks ago and he's already back in the gym helping me. That says everything about the kind of people I've got around me. He emphasized not just the physical grind but the powerful mental energy pulsing through the gym. It feels good, man. The energy in the room feels good. The mentality in the room feels good. Gerald just got a huge win for us, so the team's riding high right now. I just want to keep it going. It's clear this isn't just a fight camp. This is a brotherhood, a mission, a collective grind toward greatness. Bilal Muhammad isn't just preparing for a title defense. He's working every day to solidify his legacy with a camp full of hungry, high-level warriors pushing him to the edge. The champ is locked in, and the momentum is real. And if the energy in that room is any indicator, Bilal Muhammad is ready to make a statement. Now let's talk about Michael Bisping. The former middleweight champion, and now full-time commentator and analyst, believes the UFC is planning an absolute banger for International Fight Week. According to Bisping, all signs are pointing to one massive main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis for the middleweight title. And if that's true, the UFC might just have a fight of the year contender on its hands. Bisping didn't claim to have insider confirmation, but he made it clear he has a strong feeling this is the direction the UFC is heading. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Let's break it down. On one side, you've got Dricus Du Plessis, the reigning, defending, and still somewhat underrated UFC middleweight champion. DDP recently secured a hard-fought win over Sean Strickland in what was one of the most grueling physical fights of the year. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't flashy, but it was effective, and it was enough to get his hand raised and keep that belt around his waist. On the other side, you've got Khamzat Chimaev, an undefeated force of nature. His last fight, a dominant first-round finish over former champion Robert Whittaker. That performance was nothing short of scary. Chimaev closed the distance like a missile, forced Whittaker into bad positions and smashed him, breaking his teeth and silencing the doubters who questioned whether he was ready for the top of the middleweight division. And now the stars seem to be aligning. Khamzat versus Dricus would be a stylistic clash between two completely different approaches to combat. Chimaev is explosive. He thrives in the chaos of the early rounds. When the bell rings, he comes forward immediately, blending elite wrestling with savage ground and pound. If you're not ready, you're going to get steamrolled, but Dricus Du Plessis is built different. He doesn't look like your typical technician. But don't let the awkward style fool you. DP is effective. He's tough, he's durable, and more importantly, he's dangerous late in fights. As the rounds go on, his confidence grows. His awkward movements become harder to predict, and his gas tank is surprisingly deep for a man his size. This is what makes the potential matchup so compelling. If Khamzat doesn't finish DDP early, we could be looking at a complete momentum shift. We've seen it before. Khamzat tends to slow down in later rounds, and that's when Dricus comes alive. Bisping said, "Look, I don't have insider info from the UFC, but I just have a feeling. This is the fight they're setting up." The way Khamzat took out Robert Whittaker, crushing his teeth like that, it sent a message. The guy's undefeated. He hasn't been too active, sure, but that performance, he deserves a title shot, he added. And I think Dricus would be his toughest test by far. That might sound obvious since he's the champ, but still, Khamzat's blown through most guys. Burns Usman on short notice, but over 5 rounds. I'd actually favor Dricus in that matchup. International Fight Week might just deliver a war for the ages. Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev has officially confirmed that his long-anticipated title fight is happening, and he's not wasting any time. Speaking to Russian media during his recent stop in Abu Dhabi, the undefeated warrior revealed that he's already deep into training camp and laser-focused on dismantling Dricus Du Plessis. And in true Khamzat fashion, he didn't just stop there. He dropped a bombshell that shook the MMA world. Khamzat revealed that none other Then Jon Jones, the heavyweight king and arguably the greatest fighter of all time, will be joining him in camp. That's right, the Chechen Wolf and Bones Jones training together under one roof. Khamzat didn't hold back in his comments. This is his peak now. You could say he is a bad version of me. I'll be back soon and take him down. For me, he is easier than other fighters. Sean Strickland gets up well. Dricus is a wrestler but more physical. We have the technique, wrestling counter. Wrestling. We'll take him down and hold him. He went on to say, I spoke to Jon Jones this week. He will be coming here and we'll train together. Let that sink in. The most dominant welterweight and middleweight destroyer of recent years, preparing for a title. Shot alongside the most decorated light heavyweight and now heavyweight champion in UFC history. This isn't just training, this is the assembling of a super camp. And it's not just the fans paying attention. Joe Rogan weighed in on the potential. Chimaev versus Dricus Showdown on the JRE Fight Companion, and he had high praise for Khamzat's world-class grappling. Khamzat's wrestling is some of the very best in the sport. Rogan said he shoots from absurd distances, and somehow still gets to your legs, like it's nothing. But Rogan didn't crown Khamzat just yet. Instead, he posed the million-dollar question, can Dricus stop the takedown? Because with Khamzat, it's not just about raw aggression, it's about perfectly timed explosions. Those freakish bursts of speed and his ability to close distance like no one else. In the game, Rogan also pointed out something many fans have been thinking. Middleweight might be the true home for Khamzat. No more killing himself during brutal welterweight cuts. No more compromised cardio. At 185, we may see a fully optimized versions of Chimaev 1 with better gas, better strength, and even more ferocity. With Dana White already showing signs of green-lighting this fight, and Jon Jones preparing to train alongside Khamzat, it's clear the middleweight division is on the verge of a massive shakeup. And if Chimaev gets his hands on the belt, a new era could begin. And speaking of Dana White, the UFC boss recently shared a wild story from his younger, more chaotic days. While appearing on Stephanie McMahon's podcast, Dana opened up about a brutal altercation that left him with permanent intensity workouts as he gears up for what might be the biggest fight of his career. The video clips show Khamzat looking sharp-focused and more dangerous than ever. From high-paced grappling drills to powerful striking combinations, to brutal strength and conditioning circuits, Khamzat is clearly going all in for this upcoming war. And with rumors heating up that he'll be facing Dricus Du Plessis for the middleweight title, the timing couldn't be more perfect. He's not just training to fight. He's training to take over an entire division. You can see it in his eyes. That same fire, that same intensity that made the world take notice when he first burst onto the UFC scene. Except now he's even more experienced, even more refined, and this time he's coming for gold. But the question remains, what are your predictions for Khamzat versus Dricus Du Plessis? Will DDP, South Africa's pride, and the current middleweight champion be able to weather the storm? Will his toughness, awkward style, and underrated grappling be enough to keep the wolf at bay? Remember, Dricus is no stranger to chaos. He's been in some gritty wars, and he's proven time and time again that he can take a shot and keep moving forward. But on the other hand, we're talking about Khamzat Chimaev, a man who's walked through everyone the UFC has put in front of him, a man who's never taken a step backward. When he comes forward, it's like a freight train with a wrestling pedigree, a killer instinct and zero hesitation. If Khamzat gets his hands on you, it's a matter of seconds before you're on the ground drowning in pressure. And with the added rumors that Jon Jones is joining Khamzat's training camp, the stakes are even higher. That kind of mentorship, that level of preparation. It's no joke. This could be the most dangerous version of Khamzat we've ever seen. So what do you think? Will Dricus Du Plessis shock the world and defend his title with a statement win? Or will Khamzat Chimaev prove once and for all that he's not just a contender but the undisputed king at 185? Drop your thoughts, predictions, and hot takes in the comments below. This is a fight that could redefine the future of the middleweight division, and the countdown has already begun.